We had a great first day. Could not ask for better weather. This has been wonderful. So, some of you maybe caught us before, but yes, we are the North Central Liberty Horse Club. My name is Amanda Summer. I manage the club. We are an affiliated club under the International Liberty Horse Association. So, the association was created by, you all know Dan James, right? Yeah, some of you, maybe, some of you. So his wife, Elizabeth James, created the she created the International Liberty Horse Association back in 2019. So up until that point, there was never a place for people to compete at Liberty. It was just kind of something you did at home. So they wanted to create a place where all Liberty styles, all Liberty trainers and enthusiasts could come together and compete. So they created patterns. And that's what we're going to show you today. We're going to show you the different patterns. I'll talk through the different levels, how they work a little bit. We'll even talk through a little bit about how they're judged and what the judge is looking for. So our first horse up here is going to be Satin with Dave. So whenever you're ready, you can kind of come on out. So we have a couple obstacles set up on the outside because that is one of the classes is obstacles. So doing obstacles at Liberty. So this first pattern Dave is going to demonstrate is the lead line novice pattern. Okay, so the first class in the International Liberty Horse Association is done completely on the halter and lead rope. So anyone can start, even if you're not at that point where you can take your horse off. You know, all Liberty training begins on the lead rope, so that's the first class. So Dave, when you're ready, so we have our cones set up. All of the patterns run off the cones this way. They're 9 feet apart. As you'll see as he goes through the pattern, you'll see how it works. These cones here are marking the center line. If I were the judge, I would be sitting right here. So one thing about Liberty, if you've played with Liberty at home, you'll notice you do a lot of running. Okay? As you'll see in these patterns. So even though you're not riding, you still stay in pretty good shape, if not better, doing Liberty. So all of the patterns revolve around these two cones, mostly doing circles back and forth, changing shoulders. And as you saw him here, now he's going to have the horse travel around the handler. So the pattern he's doing is the lowest level pattern. So there's 4 levels in each class. So we have our classes, and then there's 4 levels within each class. The first class is novice, second class is intermediate, third class distinguished, and then advanced. So we're going to show you a few of the different levels as well here. And that's the end. So that's the first class and first pattern. Pretty easy, right? Most of you guys can do that with your horse at home, right? And that's really how they created these patterns, these classes, these levels, is to give everyone a chance to at least get started. I think that's the hardest thing in Liberty work, is to just get started and know how to get started and where to go. And that's kind of why we started our Liberty Club, because we have a lot of people that work together, we get together, have practices, and help each other. We have some professional trainers in the group that give little lessons and things like that. All right, next up, come on in. We have Tiffany and Grace. She's going to be doing the lead line intermediate level. So this is the next level up. So it'll have a little slightly more difficult maneuvers. So you can see she's changing shoulders back and forth, moving the horse back and forth from shoulder to shoulder. And like I said, we have some horses doing some of the obstacles around the corner, like the L. These are all pattern or obstacles that are in their obstacles class. And the first level of the obstacles class is also done on lead rope. So they have a lead line level, then they have an intermediate and then an advanced level, all done on the obstacles. And believe it or not, there's actually not a penalty for knocking down the cow. And one of the hardest things about competing at Liberty is doing it in a show environment, right? I mean, all of our horses, that's always a big step. Competing, riding, showing your horse in a show environment, especially something like this. So that's why, again, in our club, we do a lot of club practices, getting our horses off the farm in lots of different arenas, because they can all do it perfect at home, right? Woo! Good job. And we actually, unfortunately, in our club here this weekend, had a couple horses that weren't able to come, so we've had to rearrange our schedule as far as some of these demos. So we have planned to show you some bridleless riding, because that's another class within the ILHA is bridleless. So riding bridleless as well as bareback and bridleless. But unfortunately, our bridleless horse was starting to colic and is having to move home, unfortunately. But that is a whole other class within the ILHA. All right, who do we have next? We have Laura. So this is Laura Baker and her horse Magica, AKA, if you watched us earlier, the zebra. Or if you come see us tomorrow, we're in the Coliseum tomorrow. So this is going to be the lead line advanced pattern. So this is the highest level, still on the lead rope. Like I said, you stay in a lot better shape doing Liberty work. There's lots of running. You'll see later they actually created a class that has limited running. We'll talk about that later. So they're really looking for a lot of the transitions to happen in the center of the cones. And they, from a judge's perspective, they're looking for the horse to maintain straightness on the center X there. And all of their patterns you can find on their website, libertyhorseassociation.com. All of their patterns are listed there, as well as they have a YouTube channel with video samples of each pattern too, so you can see how the layout should go. So a lot of the patterns incorporate some of the Liberty tricks, including the laydown. The ground is hard in here, so sometimes they don't like to go down. There we go. Good. also have, I think some of them have the sit up, some of them have Spanish walk, as you'll see in a moment. They also have the rear. So get your cameras ready. Here's her rear. Woo! Woo woo! So here she's supposed to walk away from her and call her and call her to her. Magica says, nope, I'm just gonna stay here. There. Oh yeah, been a long day. The zebra is tired. All right, so that was the advanced level, advanced level lead line. Okay, so the next pattern we're going to show is training level at the shoulder. That is the next one, right? Okay, training level at the shoulder. So after the first year that they had the ILHA, they decided, let's give people one more step to get to taking the line off. So they have 3 training level classes that take place in a round pen. So obviously we don't have a round pen here today. We didn't bother to get one set up. So this class that you're going to see next takes place in a round pen. And this is at the shoulder. So training level Liberty Horse at the shoulder. So this class, as you'll see, he remains at either her right or left shoulder. So it's, again, kind of a building step to be able to take that line on, get the horse to move around you. All right, whenever you're ready, this is Serenity and Zacchaeus. Yeah, go ahead, whenever you're ready. Oh, you gonna take the line off? Oh, yeah, whatever you want to do. Which this is not her horse, this is actually my horse, so we'll make sure he doesn't actually come running to me, we'll see. But, so she's never worked with this horse, so this might be interesting, so bear with us. We had to, like I said, do quite a bit of switching things around this weekend. I'm actually going to come stand in here so we do the same thing. But yeah, these training level classes, like I say, are really a good building step. They also have just a Liberty horse in the round pen, training level Liberty horse, and then they have a bridleless training level class as well, where you can compete bridleless in the arena with your bridle still on, actually. So if you need to last minute touch your reins a little bit, you just get like a 2-point penalty instead of a disqualification. So here's a perfect example for me to explain what happens if you're doing a pattern and your horse leaves, because it happens many, I'll say it again, many times. All right, especially in this show environment. So if she were competing right now, she could continue her pattern. She is not disqualified. We call that a break of connection. The horse didn't leave, but she's able to go get the horse back and continue. So for that movement that she was performing at that time when he left, she would score a 0. But then she can continue and still honestly have a pretty well placed score even if he left. We'll see if it happens, but if he leaves a second time, you are still not disqualified. You then would receive a -5 for that movement. So again, you could go back, get him reconnected, continue your pattern. If he leaves a third time, 3 strikes, you're out, you would get a 0 for that score. And let me tell you, I've competed twice now at the championship in Lexington, and you see this happen all the time. Because it's something you can't practice, and he's gonna do a lay down maybe. Just, yeah, you can keep him going. He doesn't need to lay down. Yeah, so you see it happen quite a bit. Horses do lead because that's just what happens. That's part of the Liberty training. And the whole organization is kind of centered around the training aspect of Liberty and knowing what it takes to get there. And the show atmosphere is really laid back. Like I say, the patterns are set up in a training mindset, but so are, the shows. Even at the championship show, before you enter, they have 2 round pens before the entrance gate that you can work your horse, get connected, get them warmed up before you enter the big arena to do your pattern. And honestly, the show atmosphere is really laid back. All the competitors are super friendly. Nobody's really competitive. I mean, we all want to do well. Do well. Good job, buddy. So she could still have a somewhat decent score on that pattern, even though he did leave that one time. Well done. Like I said, she's never worked than before, so that's pretty good. Okay, who's next? Oh yeah. So yeah, I mentioned before, which Laura's sure doing a lot of running this weekend, that last year they created a class called Minimal Movement. So they found out that a lot of the people that do Liberty are maybe a little bit older women that maybe can't run so much, or they have a knee problem or whatever. So they purposely made this class for seniors only, but as you will see, that she's going to do a lot less running. So they purposely made the pattern so that the horse is more the moving and not so much the handling. So this is called the minimal movement pattern, and this is level 1, or intermediate. This is intermediate level pattern 1. And this is Dalton. If you saw him earlier, he was the lion. Or if you come see us tomorrow, 4:40 in the Coliseum. And he's an old guy. He doesn't just move like that. He is an older guy. And that's what's such a cool thing about Liberty too, is any horse, any age, maybe your horse is old and you can't ride him anymore. It's a great thing to do with your horse, to still have something to keep their mind busy, and keep them engaged and build that relationship still with your horse and all of that. So ponies, miniatures, draft horses, anyone can do the Liberty. He's looking for his zebra friend, I think. I think she's over there. And then what's really cool too is if you even just go to a Liberty show and you watch, you'll see, and as you're even seeing here, lots of different techniques of cueing the horse, of moving the horse. They're open to all sorts of different training styles, techniques. The one thing you are not allowed is treats. Treats or any type of food reward are not allowed in the showing. You can treat your horse on the other side after they finish, or right before you go out. But no treats in the showing. Oh, do we have a manure fork? Somewhere we can get that food right out of the middle. Is there a manure fork down there that we could get this manure move? Awesome. We'll wait till she's done. And yeah, and you are allowed a collar with a microphone. We maybe should have given her a microphone, but so when you compete, you are allowed a collar like in dressage to call the pattern, so you don't have to have them memorized. Because it's a lot of circles, this way, that way, and trying to remember can be difficult. Again, unfortunately, we're not But that's another thing too that you can show. You can show in a bareback pad still, you can show with a neck rope, you can show with whips and a neck rope, you can show with nothing at all. Yeah, did you have a question? Yeah, in the obstacles class, yes, there is poles. Sorry? Yeah, she asked about the poles, yes. There are ground poles and there are cones in the obstacles class that you do end up leaving here. Okay, next is Zacchaeus, I think, again. So this is going to be the Liberty Horse Novice Pattern 1. Oh, yeah, we're going to get that maneuver. Yeah, is there anyone else that has questions? Yeah. Right, so the question was, what does the whip vertical over straight up in the air, what does that do? So for some trainers, that's a stop cue. Again, you'll see some people do that, some people don't. That's what's super cool about the Liberty is you'll see a million different ways to do it. And you'll see some people out there with 2 whips, some people out there with 1, maybe no whips. And they use them very differently too. Is it 60? I think it might be 60. It's on the website, you can check it out. I don't know if I... Yeah, yeah. I am also doing a Q&A presentation in the Neutrina Safe Choice Arena tomorrow. And I'll have my computer in front of me, so I'll know the actual answer to that question. But yeah, so if anyone has any other questions, you can come to that. We'll go through all of it. Okay. So this is Liberty Horse Novice. And there you go. There is time limits to these patterns too. So if you do run out of time, you will be disqualified. So if your horse takes 5 minutes to get back to you, you will be disqualified, even if they only left you the one time. All of their rules and all of that is on their website too. And when we talked about senior, there's 4 different divisions you can compete in as well. So there's the senior division, there's the pro division, there's a youth division, and then there's a non-pro division. So don't feel like, oh, I'm not that great, I don't want to go up against these professional trainers. So yeah, they have the non-pro division for you. Try to really step back, there you go. Every time you come by the gate, really try to draw them back towards you. There you go. There you go. Good boy. There you go. Yeah, good job. Who trained that horse? I don't know. Good job. What are we doing? How are we doing on time? Does someone have the time? 6:54. Awesome, thank you. Okay, we got just a couple more left, right? Oh, awesome, this is our last one. Okay, so this is Laura again here, and back with Zebra, the Magica. So she's going to do Liberty Horse Distinguished. So this is the 3rd level within the Liberty Horse. We also were unable to demonstrate, but there's also a couple other classes. There's a teams class, so competing with Liberty teams, so multiple horses. There's also a class doing Liberty from the Ridden Horse as well. Woohoo! She's gonna give us a show! So at the competitions too, at least at the championship, they often have a thing called flaggers, where they will have stationed in each of the four corners of the arena, someone with a flag. So if the handler desires, they can have a flagger help bring the horse back. Do we have any extra whips over there? We can have some flaggers come on. There. Oh, I'm just showing up. Woo! Because I don't want to do this pattern. There's no rear in it. That's her favorite, is the rear. So I also did not mention one of the most popular classes is the freestyle class. So they have a whole class for the freestyle, where costumes, music, all that, and it's clearly one of the most popular classes, and it can be a lot of fun to compete and to watch. And Magica wants to do freestyle. Okay, so she left a second time, so now we're at a -5. But she can still come through and come up with a score. In all of the shows, the classes are all usually awarded out through division as well. She just wants to rear, that's all. Sure. However, that is not allowed in the competition arena. No showboating and adding extra tricks. That is not actually allowed. Even as you're exiting or entering, you can't throw in extra tricks. So you will be disqualified. Yes, actually, again, it's been a really long day, and it's hot out, and they still have winter coats on, but she did do this pattern at the championship this last fall, which their championship is, middle of October. I should know the dates offhand. It's at the Kentucky Horse Park. They even do a complete Liberty Festival, so they have clinicians there giving different presentations and clinics throughout the weekend, as well as the complete championship show. So tickets will be going on sale, I believe, this week. So go ahead, go online and come. It's a great time. So. Q&A tomorrow night at 5 o'clock in the Neutrino State Choice Arena. Did you have another question? Oh, I thought you were raising your hand. Oh, you're good. Okay. Awesome. Oh, it's down here. Yeah. So the question was, are there any specific type of whips that you use and where you get them from? So whips. As you will notice, a lot of Liberty trainers sell their own whips because a lot of people